Have you ever stopped to truly question the reality of what you see around you? The objects, the people, even yourself. It's something most of us take for granted. We wake up, go about our day, and assume that the world exists exactly as it appears. But what if it doesn't? What if our deeply ingrained assumptions about existence are actually misconceptions? According to Genla Dekayong of the New Kadampa tradition, the problems and suffering we experience in life stem from a fundamental misunderstanding. She refers to this misunderstanding as **, self-grasping ignorance. **, this is the belief that the things we see around us exist exactly as they appear, solid, independent, unchanging. We instinctively feel that people, objects, and even our own identity are inherently real, that they exist independently of our perception. But there is another perspective, one that challenges this deeply ingrained view. Genla Dekayong describes it as the **, correct view of emptiness. **, from this perspective, things do not exist as they appear. They do not exist independently, as self-contained, fixed entities. Instead, they exist in dependence upon many factors, including our mind. These two perspectives, self-grasping ignorance and the wisdom understanding emptiness, are completely opposite. And understanding the difference between them can change everything. To illustrate this, Genla Dekayong shares an updated version of a classic story, one that reveals just how much our beliefs shape our reality. Imagine a man who begins experiencing stomach pains. The discomfort lingers, and soon, worry sets in. Eventually, he visits a doctor, hoping for reassurance. But instead, the doctor delivers devastating news: cancer. Not only that, but the doctor tells him he has limited time left to live. The man believes the diagnosis completely. And as soon as he does, a wave of fear, anxiety, and sorrow overtakes him. His mind becomes filled with worry, and his body follows suit: tension, stress, exhaustion. He returns home with this heavy burden, his sadness spreading to his wife and family. They too begin suffering, mirroring his pain and despair. Weeks pass, filled with stress, grief, and uncertainty. Then, a glimmer of hope emerges. Someone suggests he seek a second opinion, this time from a more qualified doctor. With nothing to lose, he follows the advice. The second doctor conducts a thorough examination and gives him an entirely different diagnosis. **, you do not have cancer. There is nothing seriously wrong with you. **, can you imagine the immediate shift? The fear that had gripped him for weeks vanishes. His relief is overwhelming. His mind feels light, his body at ease. He rushes home to share the news with his family, and in an instant, their suffering disappears too. The pain, the sadness, the burden, all gone, simply because they now understand that the original belief was false. Genla Dekayong then asks a profound question: **, why did these people suffer for all those weeks? The answer is simple. They suffered because they believed the man had cancer. Their pain, their grief, their stress, all of it was based on an assumption. And once that assumption was proven false, the suffering vanished. Now, here's where the lesson deepens. Just like the man believing he had cancer led to immense suffering, we too are suffering because of a deeply ingrained belief, one that we have carried for lifetimes. We believe that the self we normally see, our sense of I, our identity, is inherently real, that it exists independently and solidly. This is what Genla Dekayong calls **, self-grasping ignorance of the I of persons. **, from beginningless time, lifetime after lifetime, we have clung to this belief. And as a result, we have experienced worry, mental pain, physical suffering, and endless struggles. But just like the man in the story, our suffering is based on an illusion. The self we normally see does not exist in the way we think it does. It is not an independent, fixed entity. It exists in dependence upon causes and conditions, perceptions and labels. So, what is the cure? How do we free ourselves from this deeply rooted misunderstanding? Through the kindness of Buddha, Through the wisdom teachings that have been passed down, we have the opportunity to learn and meditate on the selflessness of persons and phenomena, the emptiness of all things. By contemplating and deeply internalizing these teachings, we can come to realize directly that the self or I we normally see does not exist at all. And what happens when we realize this? The same thing that happened to the man in the story. When we fully understand and believe from the depths of our heart that the self we grasp onto does not exist in the way we assumed, then all the worry, all the pain, all the problems associated with that false I begin to disappear. And in their place, we experience freedom. Freedom from suffering, freedom from fear, freedom from the endless struggles we have carried for lifetimes. This is the path of wisdom. This is the insight that can transform our experience, leading us away from illusion and into reality. It may seem like a profound shift, and it is. But it begins with questioning our assumptions, just as the man did when he sought a second opinion. It begins by opening our minds to the possibility that what we see and believe may not be the whole truth. And it deepens with practice, with meditation, with sincere contemplation. So the next time you find yourself struggling, overwhelmed by worry or pain, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, is this suffering rooted in a belief that may not be true? And then consider, even just for a moment, the possibility that the self you normally see, the one that feels so solid and real, may not exist in the way you assume. Because in that moment of questioning, in that small opening of the mind, the seeds of wisdom begin to grow. And with time, those seeds can blossom into a profound and lasting freedom from suffering.